Hey, Elizabeth, kept secret.
Hello, Miss Nada, and for all those who will probably eventually listen, it is the new year, so we're in She Speaks 2016. Woo! Woo! Yeah. there's like a woohoo that's kind of followed up by a woo boy.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's funny because we were just on the phone and we always start having these conversations. And this time, Nada's insight was great enough to catch it from the beginning. Like, girl, we should probably just record this. And if it gets played, it gets played. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least, whatever comes out can get shared, And I definitely agree with you. I agree with you. And where we have started and where I think this new year is kind of starting is a lot of self-evaluation, a lot of reflection, a lot of allowing ourselves to grow, which is not as pretty as we'd like it to be sometimes, and doesn't always look like how we thought. But I think this is especially important because this is the time where two things either happen. People are settling into their resolutions, but because they haven't kind of gone underneath to see what's driving them, they flunked their resolution, or they started the resolution and because they didn't go deep enough underneath to see what was driving it, they've already dropped out on them and they're already getting frustrated. And maybe some people went the route of, I'm not going to do resolutions this year, I'm just going to kind of let myself be. And that's cool, but it's still kind of like, okay, so where's that coming from? Because that might not be the best either. I don't know, Nada. I'm just off the cuff over what we were just talking about. Jump on in.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, the whole resolution thing, I find is quite interesting within itself. Because so many people wait until the new year because they really do use it symbolically as hitting a hard reset or just hitting the reset button. I won't even call it a hard reset. They just use it to hit the reset button when actually throughout the year we have ample opportunity to have our own New Year's. It really kind of, isn't dictated, of course, upon January 1st, all the time. But, everybody has different reasons and different timings for doing certain things. I think because so many of us are in our awakening state, I think a lot of people are stepping into doing the, under the hood work versus a lot of, if we really step back and look at what some of the resolutions were maybe 5-10 years ago versus what they are right now, that in itself has actually shown its own evolution, process. That, 5-10 years ago, it was I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to eat better. It was all the external things. But now you hear more people saying, I'm going to start meditation, I'm going to start yoga, or I'm going to start all of these inner attention resolutions, if you will. More people are starting to step into. I don't want to say unfortunately, but I will for the conversation's sake, because I don't feel like searching for a new word. Unfortunately, people aren't being prepped to understand what that looks like, and what it can feel like, or the experience that they witnessed looks to them or translates to them as pleasant. And as we clearly know that growth can and most times is painful and it is ugly, but it's well worth it on what's on the other side. Even when people do detox, on the physical level, most people aren't told that when you detox, that your body is going to flush out everything in your skin will most likely break out. all people are ever told is you're going to detox, you're going to feel better, and you're going to lose weight, and you're going to do this. They get all the positive stuff. They never hand them the other side of the scale. That when you detoxing, you're going to stay in the bathroom, your skin might break out, you may feel like losing your mind because your mind chemically is forcing out all the things that you've been quote unquote addicted to for however long you've been eating or drinking whatever that you're trying to detox out your system. It's the exact same way spiritually and energetically. But nobody, even some of these healers today, and we talked about this so many times.
Yes. The surface dwellers.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Kal. Take it. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I mean, we've kind of seen this age of the surface dwelling, and for some people that's cool and that works. Some people maybe you don't have as much to flush out, or maybe it's not that deep for you. But what happens when people are surface dwelling and they come from a lot, whether it's a lot of trauma or a lot of turmoil, or they just have a really deep purpose in life, that surface dwelling shit is not popping off. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And in fact, if anything, it actually drives you or can drive you into a deeper depression, or it can drive you into a negative state, because these people are promising instant results. And first of all, no results instant. Sorry. Sorry, there's no magic pill. And, the second thing is that even if it works for a little while, it has no staying power, because you've just been driven from a very shallow stance and a shallow perspective. Now, that's not to say that making these changes doesn't create deeper changes, and they're not the first, they can't be the first steps to changes. I'm applauding a lot of people I know that are making these small changes. I guess it's just to say, don't shortchange yourself. Like, don't shortchange yourself. I mean, changing your diet, changing your eating, changing, how you live or what you put into your body is so amazing. And definitely congratulate yourself. Be your own cheerleader. Just keep in mind that's just a piece. Like, and allow yourself to really open up to all the things that can explore for you, right? Because I know a lot of people who will deal with their substance use, deal with their, whatever they use to fill themselves up. A lot of people, it's internet nowadays, right? The Facebook therapy that shouldn't be going on. If you want more on that, you can check our call, Stop Posting Your Pain. That's something you really want to stop doing.
Right.
2016. And it's like, if you don't understand what drove you to do that in the first place, you're not going to understand why it's so hard for you to leave it alone. And when most people look at it, then they beat themselves up. I've referenced this on several calls now because, I know that, I don't want to blow up the spot, but I know that journaling is your thing. And I'm really excited. I can't wait to see this year what you teach us through that. But the journaling factor, when you really touched on, do you journal and kind of beat yourself up? Do you journal and kind of avoid your truth? Or do you journal to really explore from a compassionate standpoint that sometimes is strict, but is always loving? And so I'm saying that if you fall back into the same pattern or behavior and then you start seeing yourself as a failure, really it's not that you're a failure, it's that maybe you needed to flip it. Maybe you needed to start from the deeper stuff and then get to those changes and then kind of explore those changes instead of trying to dress up the shitty car, so to speak, right? The $400 Toyota with like the $1,600 rims on it. The kid who, the girl whose lights are about to get turned off, but somehow she's in the club in a new outfit getting turned off. You know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm saying is be really, really open to sitting and exploring your process, because for you the process might need to be flipped. I'm one of those people where the process has to get flipped. I'm not motivated to do anything externally until I can kind of look internally. So yeah, thoughts on that, Nada. I'm gonna kick it over to you.
I mean, yeah, that is definitely the way to go. I mean, we would think that it's a common practice to understand, to want to understand the reasons behind doing something and address it from there instead of addressing the action, but unfortunately that clearly is not how things are working, in the so-called conscious community. It's everything is still being done on the surface. And just as you were saying, if you want to use a resolution in regards of eating better or having a cleaner diet, or even if it's just taking something specific out of your diet, it's really just going to understand on a deeper level, as you were already saying, is why is it that we need to take this out of our diet? And then, I mean, it's just really critically thinking as to why something is going on. Why is it that we want to change it? What are the pros and cons? I mean, it's because most people do not know how to think. They've been taught what to think, but not how to think. And that is where we really get into the things done traditionally or things done societally, because we're being told what to think versus how to think. And when one is debilitating, the other one is empowering. Of course, when we know how to think, then we empower ourselves because we really can hold ourselves accountable, and we really can be more pleased with the outcome because we critically thought before executing an action. And tying us into the whole journaling, that's exactly what journaling does. It takes everything that we're working on or that we want to do, and it just takes it from the mental highway and just puts it on paper so that you can But again, it's not the type of journaling that really digs you deeper into what it is that you're trying to get out of. It's the steps, it's the ladder that helps pull you out, so that you can see clearer. And that's why when I do teach more about that form of journaling, that's really a key focus that I will keep hammering. Is this is not to further condemn you. It is your ladder to help pull you into that hole, because whatever you write, you're going to think it. If you keep thinking it, that's what you're going to become. I mean, the steps of human action, are so simplistic, but Lord, okay, Kal, go.
No, I hear you. I know. It's so funny. I'm listening to you work it out, and I'm like, okay, yep, we're working it out. And this is exactly why we had to do the call this way, because one thing we love to give people is the reality. Don't think just, when we jump on the scene, there's a lot of calls like this beforehand. We're working out. And there was some really key points that I want to hit on. And it's frustrating when people aren't willing to explore their thinking process.
Exactly.
Because it's exactly what you said. You don't even realize that you've taken what people have told you and how to behave and how to handle your life, and now you're not willing to revisit that maybe, just maybe.
Right.
That doesn't work for you. Just maybe. I don't know. If you're in year 10, 5, 10, 20 of the same job karma, relationship karma, money karma, like maybe, I don't know, maybe it's me, but maybe that's not working for you. And, this has to be the year of, of courageousness, like courage in action, of fearlessness, of being willing to, and people think fearlessness is not on a grand stage. Fearlessness and courage happen behind closed doors with nobody watching. They don't come from a Facebook status of, you know, oh, doing this and being that. And it's great if you share that, but just share it from a space of not trying to get that validation. Because sometimes when you talk about things too much, the way your brain works is your brain registers it that you've already done it. And you haven't. And you haven't. So you've taken that energy and you've diluted it. You've diluted it because there's a difference between speaking things into existence and speaking things into bullshit. I mean, that's the reality of it. And the other piece is that, here we go, back to our words, girl. The root word of resolution is resolve. Like honest resolve. And resolve is a state where you have built yourself like a mountain. You refuse to be moved. You refuse to be moved. And if you're getting swayed, sometimes you haven't strengthened that resolve. So how do you strengthen that resolve? Well, strengthening that resolve comes from the messages that you're telling yourself, how you're approaching your transition, the desire with which you approach your transition. If you're condemning yourself, if you're beating yourself up, you're going to weaken your own resolve. That's the reality of it. At the same time, you also can't amp yourself up to think that you're doing or being something more than you are, because, and more than you are at this point in whatever your transition is, because I've seen a lot of people that think that they're building confidence, but really they're hiding behind ego. And that's why it's important to really sit with yourself and hone your wisdom. Because the rest of the world is, you know, maybe telling you all the areas that you're great in or the areas that you're horrible in. But if you're not clear with yourself, your messages don't matter. You're still operating from this external space. And we were, okay, so I'm going to let that transition me into the point that we were actually just talking about. What happens? What happens now is that you start to realize that in order to be clear with yourself, you have to let a lot of things go. You have to step back from a lot of people. You have to step back from a lot of activities sometimes, and you have to let these things go. Now here's the thing. When you're letting things go, and this goes for your New Year's resolutions too, everybody needs to start understanding the complexity of grief, because you can let things go that you know are not good for you, but you are still going to go through the grief process because it is loss, and loss is real. And no matter whether your behavior or the people around you are positive or negative, we've all chosen things that somehow were there to be a blanket. Do you know what I'm saying? We're there to soothe us. And now we're starting to have this relationship with ourselves where our higher parent is sort of coming in and saying, I know, sweetie, I know that was really working for you before, but it's not working for you now. And if you don't understand that the loss is going to hurt, it's going to be difficult, it's going to leave sort of a what feels like an emptiness as you reclaim yourself, then you're just going to run right back into the same pattern and the same behavior. And because it's familiar, it might not be comfortable, but it's familiar. And so I think that's another piece that we're kind of hitting on here. Yeah, definitely. We are definitely doing that. It is really imperative, that, people understand, as you were saying, letting things go is a form of grief, especially if you have been with this particular thing for some time, or if this thing holds weight to you emotionally. It's just going to produce some kind of quote unquote low emotion, whether it's sadness, it doesn't matter. It's going to produce that. Now, once we say, okay, I'm going to just accept that this is where I am, and I'm going to go ahead and begin to let this go,
That's where people miss it. People, one, they think letting it go is, bam, I'm going to let it go. And it's done. Let it go and I've let it go. No. Just like there's a process for every single thing, whether if it's acknowledged or not. There's a process for every single thing. Even with, I mean, from schooling to our depths of understanding, there's a process to get there. Grief is the exact same thing, or letting go is the exact same thing. It's, okay, I'm going to let this go. That's step one, which is the decision. I'm going to step back even before that. It's the acknowledging, I need to let this go. It's the acknowledgement. Damn, step one, acknowledgement. Two, it's the decision to execute or honor what it is you just acknowledged that you need to let go. Now that you made a decision, now you need to do the action. The actual action of the decision, which is letting it go. After you do those, that's the process of letting go. Then after you do that, that's going to produce a whole host of other thoughts, feelings, emotions that we have to get through to fully honor your decision to let go. Otherwise, you're going to go right back to what it is that you just let go. And that's what people fail, are failing, and will continue to fail at understanding if they don't realize that there are processes, sub-processes to every single thing. And some people may hear this if we decide to share this, and they say, well, wow, it's not that deep. Actually, yes, it is that deep. And the ones that think that, that's why you're constantly going through something, because you think everything is surface, and it's not.
Right.
You know, folks may say, well, it's not that deep to just let something go. You have to let it go. No. And that also shows that there's a lack of understanding of how the dynamic of the mind-body connection is. Once I let it go, I still have to deal with myself, psychologically. I still have to deal with myself emotionally after I let it go. So how do you do that? And that's what people just totally disregard that. And they'll think, oh, my God, I'm going crazy. Oh, my God, I can't do without this person. Oh, my God, yes, you can.
Right.
Now it's a new set of processes to deal with that.
Right,
but people
right.
don't acknowledge that, or two, they acknowledge it, but they don't want to do the work. Either way, you're going to go back to it. And then you're going to be right back at square one. And then you're going to wonder why your life isn't progressing. Well, because of what you just said.
Right. I absolutely agree. And I think that that's really powerful, too, because I think one thing that people don't recognize, I mean, one thing that we work with within ourselves, within clientele, within, the people that we are assisting is the fact that, as you say, you do the acknowledgement and you can do the action, but sometimes between the acknowledgement and the action, it could be pre-action or post-action, there is almost always the moment of ambivalence. And when you skip over, like, that's really why you go to a healer or a coach or a consultant, because most times we know what we want, we just don't understand why we can't get through it. And usually it's because there's a deep ambivalence there. It could be the ambivalence of, you don't understand why you keep getting pulled back. You don't understand why, maybe you don't feel like it's a big deal yet, but everybody else in your life is telling you you're a hot mess. You know what I'm saying? It's actually the ambivalence that's the key point that you really have to get under and work through, and that ambivalence might show up before the action, but like you said, Nada, sometimes it shows up after the action, the confusion and the ambivalence, because actually removing something is what brings the discomfort. Because this something has been numbing you in some way, or has been allowing you to gloss something over in some way, or especially in my little codependence, right? Oh my gosh, it's not in my vicinity. Now I have all this time to look at myself. This is crazy, right? and you're going to be flooded with all this stuff that comes up because you haven't really spent any time being with yourself. Or maybe you spent all this time being with yourself, but you really haven't gone that deep because for you it was just the opposite. You denied human connection to be safer. This is what people need to understand. You know, I've heard a lot of people that actually are just the opposite. I remember one woman proudly saying, you know, I don't need a relationship. I don't need a man. You know, I got rid of that little demon a long time ago. And I was looking at her like, sweetie, oh my.
Wow.
Oh my, you have now totally gone to the other end to protect yourself from connection. I don't know what happened there. I don't know where things went awry, but you are still in black and white. And as long as you're black and white, you can't be in the gray zone. And I hate to break it to you people, but life is all about the gray. It's all about the gray. So that's a piece of it. And so now I'm going to let this turn into, now I'm going to let this transition into, and this is exactly why people get ridiculous with affirmations.
So,
this is exactly why, I don't know, Nana, this might have just turned into the tough love call, because this is exactly why people get ridiculous with affirmations. I see people throwing up affirmations all the time and have no idea how to properly use an affirmation. Okay, so let me just we're gonna do a call going in on affirmations deeper, but let me just break it down to you like this. To really understand an affirmation, a lot of times affirmations are just there so you can see how that truth feels in your body. So you can start to explore, do I find this true or do I not find this true? And then you're supposed to go in and figure out why you don't find it true yet. Then you're supposed to go in and figure out why that doesn't fit for you yet. An affirmation is not a Band-Aid to make you feel good for some quote of the day for you to just throw up somewhere irresponsibly. Irresponsibly, and then turn around and gloss over the fact that you do not believe half the shit you just said. You don't believe it. And so really what affirmations, as I do my air quotes, y'all heard it, really what affirmations are supposed to do is find out where we're confirming and disconfirming ourselves, to show us the work we need to do to reaffirm ourselves. That's kind of the deeper place for it. I know people, I have people in my life that love affirmations. I did affirmations for a while and would get frustrated because I'd hit a wall like, you know, oh, but then what happens and I don't see, and then, because no one was there to guide you to do the further work. Then you have people that just do the feel-good move. Oh, yes. My being is light, and I walk one with the sunrise. And you know what I mean? And like, meanwhile, you just come out of like the worst like one night stand and a 3-day binger, right? Right. Oh no, that's not light. Walking in sunrise. Right? You know, you just got off the shopping spree and you're like, all I need is what is inside myself. Yes, that'll stop me from running up my credit card. No. Anything, you're probably, that affirmation probably just triggered you to go out and shop tonight. Absolutely. like an affirmation can absolutely also become a trigger. So I'm going to leave that lit there and let you jump in on this.
Man, I mean, that right there is, that is a big one. And it's a big one for us. And I really think that really gets us looking sideways a lot of times, you know, at people and at different things that we read and hear, because we really do understand the linguistics, you know, of what's being said, not just on a surface level of what's coming out of your mouth, but energetically. And this, I mean, and it's so funny because I'm actually working on something to actually attempt to help people to understand that we're all casters. If you can talk, you're a caster. And you need to understand that whatever you're saying, you're creating. If you're opening your mouth saying something, then you're casting. And unfortunately, it's not the people that's being labeled as witches, warlocks, Wiccans, and pagans that are just casters. Everyone that can speak audibly, you're casting every single time. So when you do these affirmations and you have not really done the work to understand what this is that you're saying, you're really harming yourself. I mean, because affirmations, it is just that. It is to affirm something. And unfortunately, the thing is this: when you say it, yes, I'm walking on clouds of light today, and I'm great, right? Mentally, if you feel like shit, that affirmation means nothing. That affirmation doesn't mean a damn thing. It doesn't hold any kind of weight. An affirmation is like a seal. It should be intended as a seal and a support to the work that you've just done mentally and energetically. Now, that's what an affirmation is, and that's what, that is really that's what I will hope that healers that just throw affirmations around really understood, that it is a seal and a support to help you to further cultivate the healing that's taking place. Or it is a seal and a support to further build where you already are. But it will further hinder and confuse and frustrate the hell out of you if you want to talk about your own clouds of light and you feel great today, and emotionally and mentally you feel like a big ball of shit. You're gonna. How come this affirmation isn't working? Well, because it's holding no weight and no power. Because mentally it's overpowering what your words are saying. People don't understand. It's not just words. These aren't just words. They are energetic pathways. These are energetic gateways, building blocks that create and or destroy whatever it is that you're trying to do. And they will also hinder progress from being made. But nobody wants to look at it from that perspective. They just want to throw an affirmation out there and say, yep, you know what? Let's hold hands today, and we are both going to do our asanas, and we're just going to just elevate. And no, you're not. No, you're not. Wrong. You're not going to do that. You're not. Because on the inside you're dying. On the inside you're dying, and your mouth is talking shit. That's really what you're doing.
And then in the process, you're like fueling this negative relationship between whoever you're working with, because what you don't realize is it's not the affirmations you're doing together that's making you feel better. It's the fact that you're with somebody who is now actually becoming your affirmation. So again, you're looking externally to somebody to validate you. And I will scream this from the mountaintops: knock that shit off. There is a difference between getting somebody to support you and somebody who now enables you. Okay? First rule of dysfunction in life, is that, and I have to go back to what you were saying energetically, because you can create an affirmation, but if you haven't done the work to really look at all of your tapes, all of your old tapes in your head that are playing. This is what happens. If you're not aware of them, this is what it looks like. And I know because I have been through it. I did an affirmation. I am deserving of all that life has to offer. Okay? I tried this little cute affirmation for about a week. All right? And literally by the end of the week was completely enraged and ripped the affirmation up. Okay. So I went back in and I was like, damn, I'm supposed to be feeling good. Like, I am pissed. You know what I mean? So I went back in. I was like, ready to go. I was like, who gave me this affirmation? Like, I was heated, and so then I went back in and I started realizing that I was doing the affirmation, but I had an old tape back there.
Mm-hmm.
I had an old tape back there, and every time I was saying, I am deserving of all that life has to offer. My history of trauma and abuse, my protective little demon monkey was in there going, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Right.
Don't start believing that. Because the minute you believe that, you are going to get let down. You're going to get let down. And the minute that you get let down, it's just going to prove that you are not worthy. Now, think about how many, the affirmation wasn't the magical moment. It was how many messages I got in that tape that refuted the affirmation that was the key. The affirmation, if I had understood then, you know, that affirmation was actually supposed to be a trigger for me to hear the tape, and then I was allowed to go in and get help to say, ooh, let me tell you, I got a tape in here, and that thing has been beating me down for most of my life. So when the anger happened, and I'm kind of, and it was like, no, actually the process for affirmation is it can work in two ways. One, it can actually trigger you to see what's been stopping you, but then you got to do the work. Or two, you do the work and it becomes a sealant, like you said. It becomes an actual acknowledgement. Either way, it comes down to it has to be an active work for you to align your energy, because most of the time things aren't coming to us because there's a schism somewhere inside of us. So if you're doing a half-assed affirmation and now you're still at war with yourself, but you're like, but I did an I don't understand why the secret's not working for me. I'm going to tell you why. Because that was somebody else's secret. That was, you haven't dealt with your secret. You haven't dealt with whatever secrets you've been holding that's been energetically jamming you up, so you haven't even been able to move forward with things.
You know what? That completely makes sense, and something that I really want to pull out of what you just said before we move on is affirmations are other people's secrets. So therefore, the power isn't there for you because it wasn't created for you. You know, that is why when sisters ask me if I can write something for them, my answer, impartial, is no. I cannot write something for you because it will have my energetic imprint on it based on where I am. And if we're not in alignment, then what I'm writing for you is not going to work. So I can co-write, I can compose it, but you have to give me the substance. And once you give me the substance, I can put it together, but then you have to charge it. I can't do that because I'm charging it, again, with my energetic imprint, and it may not be the same as yours. So therefore, the alignment is already off, and the affirmation is null and void. It's not going to work. It's totally not going to work. And again, this depth is what people, either they don't want to know or they think it's not necessary. And unfortunately, for them, that is why, again, they're where they are because you deem it not necessary. And wherever you deem it not necessary, then that's where you will stay. You can't even expect to step a step further because you've deemed it unnecessary. So therefore, subconsciously, it's not even going to let you go further because you've already programmed yourself to say, it's not even that necessary. So even if verbally you were to say, you know what, I want to try this out, subconsciously, you lock yourself in until you go back in and you undo what you've done and then change the wording to have a different association with depth. Because now you kind of screwed it up because you said it's not that deep. So people don't understand that when we leave off the scene for weeks at a time, it's shit that we doing.
Things have officially gotten real. Like, if you don't see us around, you should probably be really doing some work because I mean, that's pretty much where we were at. I mean, at the end of last year, we said, okay, we're taking ourselves away from social media. We are going to really do this introspective moment, and we didn't need an announcement. We didn't need a whole, paragraph where it just turns into us seeming like we're these enlightened beings. And all I know is that I don't care what you do because that's on you. And this is something I also need people to understand. Okay, you're not going to do it perfect the first time because you're not supposed to. This is, I've released 2 albums, all with the underlying message, I am perfectly imperfect, because part of my evolution was self-acceptance.
Yeah,
it was getting rid of the perfection monkey. It was getting rid of the judge. So a lot of our messages isn't here to scare you, because then that's getting into a religiosity that we hate. We hate religiosity, right? So it's more or less to say all of the great guys I've had have done a really great balance between tough love and like waking me the hell up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and just to be clear, our intention is for you to really understand that you're so amazing. Like, you're so amazing, and you don't even have any idea how amazing you are, because so many people are trying to shove their philosophies and their ways and how they do things down your throat that you don't even have time to explore your own process. All these things that are here are actually here for you to explore your process. So you're going to fall back. You're going to engage in the same behavior probably until you get it. I always say I'm the best person for like, oh, I did that again, huh? Like, and most people, I've had people come at me and say, well, this, you've done this several times, and I'm like, yeah, but not the same way, right? It's a deeper layer. It's a deeper layer of the same issue, because these are the layers I need to remove to get to the core. And I can't do it all at once because I probably have a nervous breakdown. So my life knows how to work through its stuff. But my life knows how to work through its stuff because I separated myself and got the guidance I needed spiritually. I surrounded myself with people and cut people off quite frequently, more than I surrounded myself with people, in order to do the work. So I think it's really important that kind of what we're saying is, in this year, make resolutions, definitely. Make, ideas of what you want your life to look like, okay? Yeah, maybe you did a vision board. Woohoo, good for you, all right? But really explore the feelings that come up while you're in that process. Really explore where you're still at war with yourself. Because it doesn't matter if you don't change a damn thing externally, the internal work is going to drive the change to a point where the next time you step out, you're brilliant. And no one knows how it happened. No one understands how your star just totally blew up. Nobody gets it because you gave yourself the space to work it out. So give yourself time. Give yourself space. Don't jump into something and don't look for the magic pill. Just let this be the time of reflection for you to finally say, I'm not bringing this over to the next time. I'm not going to allow this to keep impeding me. I'm not going to use this to shame myself. I'm going to use this to acknowledge that I went through a lot and this is how I cope, and now I can choose better ways to cope in my life. And I think when you approach yourself that way, and occasionally with a little slap on the hand, so you're not in the candy dish, or for someone like me, you're not in the refrigerator trying to take down your 8 Heineken, right? Like, when you do that and you start to kind of see a better picture for yourself, it's going to be a lot easier to move forward in 2016.
Yeah. And I just want to add real quick before we, wrap this up, is when we're doing that, when you're moving forward in your space, when you come to the realization that you are awesome, you are magnificent, you are all these wonderful things, you're brilliant, you're limitless. When you come to that realization that you are a drop of the ocean of awe, understand that when that realization hits and you take the time for yourself to really begin to do the work, understand people most times will not be allowed in that space.
Right.
It's likened to the first trimester of pregnancy. It is so delicate. It is so influential that the happening of it being aborted is high, because mentally you're still trying to wrap your own mind around what's taking place, what's about to take place. You're totally restructuring your thinking, your thought patterns. You're doing all of this. You're getting reacquainted with yourself.
Right.
So think about if you have to do that just with yourself, if somebody else was in the picture that you have to explain this to. No, absolutely not.
Right.
So, and this actually serves as a good weeding out process. I know we do it. I know we do it. When we hit these moments, and people that may have been around us for some time, and they don't get it. They don't get it. Now, don't getting it doesn't automatically mean that we're going to dismiss you.
Right.
What gets you dismissed is you don't get it, and you turn your inability to not get it into a problem that I have. Wrong. Hit the pause button. Goodbye. Because you're not going to take my evolution, my ascension time, and turn it into something that's wrong with me. No, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, and in the process, make it about you.
Exactly. Ooh. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And the thing is, the more we become aligned, the more we step further into flowing with universe, which is ourselves. The more we do that, the more ascension periods we have.
Right.
So we may be out of the cave, symbolically right now, and we may be out talking to people. We may be social right now. But that does not mean next week universe won't call us back into a space where we can't say shit to nobody. And the ones that's around us, they have to be able to understand that if that relationship is to flourish.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing with selecting people in your circle. It's not a game. It is not a game. It's nothing to play with, and it's serious. People think, well, oh my God, you're just antisocial. I'm not antisocial. I honor and respect when the universe pulls me out.
Right.
And if you can't roll with that, then you can't roll with me, because I refuse to explain to you every single time universe pulls me out.
Yes, and expend that energy that I could be using to get myself to wherever place I'm supposed to be going.
Exactly.
Trying to explain something to you, and you're so selfish that you don't understand that I can't take the energy to do that. No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I think that was one of the first things, one of the first conversations we had when we really started connecting and getting close was, okay, so I'm just going to tell you right now, there may come a time where you can't reach me, and it's indefinite, and I have no idea, you know what I'm saying? But I need you to roll with it. And if you can't, our relationship will never reach the depth it needs to, because now you haven't become an ally, you've become a threat.
Yeah.
And this is really about, you're in the process of saving your own life. Yes, people, it's that serious. It is that serious. And until we get to the point where we take it as that serious, we just keep kind of floating around making jokes about it. We kind of keep throwing ourselves in the same situations because we haven't gotten that serious. And that's one of the biggest benefits that we always tell people we have. We know what it is to face death. We know what it is to wake up one morning and really say, why am I breathing? And have no desire to keep breathing. And really, when I always say, when you have the moment where you're in the bottom of the shower rocking yourself, trying to rock yourself out of insanity because you have reached such a depth in your life that you feel, why am I even going? Until you have that moment sometimes, that was our gift. That was our gift. That we understood what that looked like and what that felt like to help other women come back from that and to do our own revolution to change that. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I would say, clear your space, man. You hit the nail on the head. Clear your space.
Yeah.
I'm gonna seal this right here. And just so y'all know, and I'm gonna let you speak a little bit on this, and then we'll close out the call. But 2016 is about the number 9.
Yes.
And I know there's people out there that don't get numerology. Trust me, I am not numerology specialist, but I honor numbers, I honor letters, I honor this because it's all actually nothing but products of our symbolic process. So when we look at the number 9, we're looking at a year of really breaking down the old to bring in the new. And that discomfort you're talking about, Nada, is absolutely inevitable. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And I mean, y'all can look that up and we can do a call on that too. But we're in a really crucial year right now.
Yeah. We are really, really in that number 9, man. It is definitely, the year of, spiritual enlightenment, that spiritual awakening, also coming into it more so of accepting our natural purpose. Our natural purpose is that, of course, is what we came here to do. And contrary to what some people may believe, 9 is actually the number of completion. And again, I'm not heavily versed in numerology, which is really quite interesting, seeing that everything now that's starting to be done, university has given me an interesting new perspective numerically, which signifies, for both of us, is that we're really getting back to the original language of, numbers and frequency. That's it, numbers and frequency. And man, I mean, it is really amazing. Of course, we're not suggesting, that everyone do what it is that we do. We just know what works for us. We know what adds to our space of power. But it doesn't hurt either to understand numerically where we are universally. Now, where you are individually, now that's something different. But universally, we're in a number 9 year. And I mean, it is really, really amazing, that we're in this year, because it is a year of acceptance.
Got your back.
Yeah. This is the year that those that's going to excel, they're going to excel. Those that's not going to, they're not. And it's going to look like a really hard and inconvenient truth to a lot of people, because a lot of people that have been doing the hard work, this is the year that you're going to see them step up. This is the year that they actually, as harsh as this is sounding, this is the year that they're going to wash their hands of people that they've been trying to drag along and get it. I just made a post about this today, actually, where to be careful doing that. Be careful when we have to drag people or think we can take people with us, air quotes, because when we do that, we have to bring our own vibration down to meet them, to try to force them to come up to us, and it's not going to happen.
Right.
It is not going to happen. So now, of course, I am not saying that you don't care about people.
Right.
However, people also have to understand that our filters are a little bit different, and they seem a little bit more stricter than what people may be accustomed to. And that's fine. That's fine, because I understand what it takes to get here and what it will take to maintain and keep excelling. I get it. I'm not saying don't care, but what I am saying is care more about you to not what's where I'm looking for, to not sabotage where you are trying to force somebody. Somebody's natural path may be to be at that vibration. You can't force somebody out of something. Either it's their time or it's not. And you have to acknowledge that and leave them right where they are. It doesn't mean you don't love them or you don't care about them. It's not about that. Don't bring human emotions into this. It's not about this. It's realistically, energetically, they just cannot come. So you have to make the choice. Either you keep playing tug of war with them and you keep stunning your own growth, or you let them go in love and in care and you wish them the best, but you keep going.
Right.
It's that choice.
Right. And to be humble enough to let them have their path.
Yeah.
Like that might be their purpose. You know, that might just be their purpose. And you know what? That might be how they're serving their purpose. And there's nothing wrong with that. Where it becomes wrong is when you try and play Little Miss Fix-It-All. Now that's your energy you need to look at. That's again, your stuff. So, you know, this is going to be a really great year, and understand that completion means letting go. It means gaining resolve. It means changing your thought process. It means bringing attention to the discomfort inside of you. So when you actually say you're happy, you mean it. You mean it. When someone asks you how you're doing and you say great versus fine, right? Fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional, right? When you say that, you want to be able to say it in your truth, and you should definitely fight for that. And so we're going to have more calls. We're going to expand on all of this. We're going to touch on more of this. And, you know, I just want to extend the disclaimer again that, you know, for some people, you know what, it might not be this deep. But one thing I think that we've embraced, Nada, is our mission is to reach the people that have been through so much that this is exactly the work that they need to do to become free. Because up to this point, nothing has worked for them because people haven't been able to go to the next level for them. So we're here for you. We're here for you. And if there's someone that's like, oh, this is like crazy or too much, then this isn't for you. This isn't for you. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? All right? You know that. But we're here for the people that have been to their depths, that have seen the lowest of lows in their valleys, and we're telling you, you can get to your highest of highs, and this is the year to do it. We're here for every young woman, every older woman, every woman who keeps hitting a wall, who keeps feeling like her passion can't be found, who can't understand why she's tried all those things and they haven't worked. We're here for you. We're here for you because we know what it is to be there, and we know what you need to do to pull yourself out. So again, you know, if you're hearing this, you can reach Nada at woman@yahoo.com. You can email her. You can go to the Facebook She Speaks with Nada Crystal page. We are here. We love to hear your feedback. We want more questions. And in the meantime, we just want to welcome y'all to 2016. Let's get her done.
Right, absolutely.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, peace.